Hey there guys, so this is a fireplace build out, shiplap, wraparound hearth, mantle, the insert, and a little recessed part for the TV. So I'm starting out here. It's hard to see, but I got a laser I'm using. So first thing I did was tape everything out. I did make a bunch of measurements and using the laser there. But I wanted to give my customer, since I'm building this on site, I kind of wanted to give her a visual that she would approve, and also for the most part understand where everything is going to end up at. Now at the start of this video, it's about, I don't know, 11 o'clock in the morning, and the fireplace is supposed to show up. And so I kind of am holding my breath there. But as you've seen, I found my studs, and then I put these back supports for my upright structure, the wings, if you will. I don't know the proper term, I'm not a framer, but that's what I'm talking about. So I built those and used that back support, which are attached to the studs, just to make everything nice and snug. And then I got the top support, so just working on the framing here. And I end up having to use this ratchet strap because good old Lowe's lumber is not always straight, even though I thought I looked at all that pretty well. Now I'm kind of building the face of the fireplace. The insert, again, I have no idea how heavy it is. I've got some measurements off of Amazon from the customer. So I just beefed this up a little bit because I wasn't 100% sure. Also, that first row you see there with the blocking, that is the height of my hearth. So I kind of did that intentionally. In retrospect, I probably could have just done one set of blocks up to the bottom of the fireplace. So I decided I'm gonna go ahead and move forward. I'm gonna use the measurements, which are kind of funky. They're like 16.63 and 18.39. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna try to convert that the best I can, and hopefully she fits. So that middle part there is the size opening of the fireplace. Then I'm just building up the rest of the structure. She wanted a bit of a recessed part here for the TV mount to go on, also to where she could put her modem, her Wi-Fi rather, hide the wires, things of that nature. So I'm framing that out now. Again, not a framer. Honestly, I had no plans for this. I just looked at the picture she provided. She said, hey, can you build this? And I said, hey, let's do it. Now, I do flip houses and build houses for a living. At least I'm the project manager. I don't technically build them. Do a lot of cool stuff in them. But I've been around the block a time or two, so I kind of got the gist of it. And thought, you know what, this thing's not like super load bearing. Nothing's really heavy besides the TV. And even those are so light these days that I wasn't super concerned with the structural integrity of this. However, those that are a little more seasoned can probably look at this and say, hey man, that's overkill. But I'd rather it be a little too much support than not enough. This is the extra depth I wanted to add to the recessed part. Just happens that 2x4s measure out perfectly for a piece of shiplap, at least the way I designed this on paper. Doesn't always go that way, as everyone probably knows. And then these supports on the back are for the actual TV mount, which I did measure hole to hole. So I needed something to be able to grab onto with those lag bolts. Now I'm framing up the hearth. The wraparound hearth goes 12 inches off of each side and 12 inches out the front. So this entire fireplace ended up being 12 feet wide with the hearth, 10 feet on the main part. And again, not really sure what the use would be for this, so I just blocked it up accordingly. And try to keep it as square as possible because, which I don't show in the video, but off-site back in my wood shop, I did build the mantle and the hearth. And I wanted that to be as perfectly square as I could so it would slide right on, which you will see here in a little while. Just how snug that ends up being. In retrospect, I wish I would have set up a saw in this living room with some kind of dust collection, because I ended up going about 15,000 steps this first day. I was back and forth from one end of the house all the way to the other end in the driveway, and it wore me out. But here we are, moving on to the fun part, what I call the sexy part, putting the shiplap on. Shiplap's okay, it's pretty easy to work with. Again, the low selection wasn't that great, so I had to pick through a lot of pieces, but I got it to work out. And I don't know if I showed it here, but for whatever reason, I put these two pieces, yeah, see there? So I put that piece on, and I'm like, what am I doing? I've got to notch out the next piece at the bottom of the fireplace. Somehow, though, that actually fit, so I didn't have to take all that off. It was a complete accident. I didn't space it out, I didn't measure it, it just happened to fit. So I got the TV mount up, and now she had a modem, a home, she had like 5 devices, and she wanted to be able to hide those. They all wouldn't fit up there, and they recessed apart. So I came up with this really cool solution to create this trap door that's got just a little knob on it and 4 magnets. It's nice and secure. I put a little shelf inside. That way she could put all her modem, her alarm system, I think something to do with her doorbell, all that's inside there. Now, some of you, if you're OCD, when you see I do the trim work here, may be wondering why that's offset. And the truth is, I couldn't get the door. It was a way that I spaced the 2x4s. I had to do it that way in order for me to put up the fixed pieces of shiplap that would not come with the door, that would stay fixed on the side there. So that's why that piece of trim there is a little bit narrower than the rest. But once it was caulked and spackled, it looked great, actually. I didn't finish this painting. She wanted to paint it, which is great because I hate painting. But I did get it all prepped for her to where all she had to do was paint it. Here I am cutting out I use like this media wall plate. It's basically just like this pass-through type of funnel looking thing. Because all the electric, there's 2 power outlets back there. I had to weave her cable in. And here's the fireplace, and it was actually a perfect fit except for the power cord, which stuck out the side. So I had to notch out one spot for the power cord. It was a bad design on the fireplace part. They should have probably put the power cord straight out the back, but it's okay. And this piece of glass, it doesn't take a lot to hook this on. It seemed kind of inadequate in my opinion, but I put the hardware that it came with. And here is the hearth that I built off site. I'm laying down some adhesive for that to grip onto because I didn't want to put any nails or screws in it, and it's pretty heavy. And this thing could have not have slid in any tighter. I mean, it was absolutely perfect. So I'm very happy about that. It's this aged barrel kind of stain. So I made some ceiling beams, some faux beams for this client that were highly distressed to look like hand-hewn beams. They're really cool. It's hard to tell, but that mantle is built to match those ceiling beams. So it's got a lot of notches and gouges, and it's just a really cool mantle. You'll see the close-up here. And this is the final shot. A couple pieces of tape holding that bottom trim on. Again, this is prior to paint. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me what you think.